right, so we're going to be making some complex sentences today by adding a subordinate clause and how we need to use commas correctly. It says, read each pair of sentences, combine them into a complex sentence by using a subordinate clause. Add or omit words as necessary and use commas where they are needed. Remember, if I put the dependent or subordinate clause at the beginning of the sentence, I'm going to use a comma after it. But if I put the subordinate or dependent clause at the end, then I don't put a comma, okay? So if I look at this sentence that I have here, freezing rain was falling yesterday, roads quickly became icy. So I would go ahead and put because freezing rain was falling yesterday, comma, roads quickly became icy. Okay? All right, on number 2, the storm occurred at rush hour. That was the problem. Here, I think I can just go ahead and keep that as my word, okay? The problem was that the storm occurred at rush hour. In that case, I don't need a comma. I just put it like that, okay? Go ahead and add some clue words like because, since, if, when, while, although. Those all can be clue words for dependent clauses, and combine these sentences up here. All right, we're going to go ahead here and look at B. Rewrite each sentence adding a subordinate clause. Follow the directions given in parentheses. Use commas where they are needed. The example sentence says, my oldest sister has wanted a dog. Tell how long. Since she was 3, my oldest sister has wanted a dog. Okay? So notice since I put it at the beginning, I do have a comma there. If I wrote it as my oldest sister has wanted a dog since she was 3, I wouldn't use a comma. Okay, so when it goes in at the end like that, we don't use a comma. Okay, we helped Mom buy a freezer at the warehouse sale. Tell when. I would say, when we were at the store yesterday, comma, we helped Mom buy a freezer at the warehouse sale. Okay. Number 2, we were shopping for food several times a week. Tell a reason or condition. Okay. I would say, because we were hungry, comma, we were shopping for food several times a week. Okay, but you could put a different one. Okay? All right. Go ahead and make sure you do those. You might try which or who. Any of those would work. Okay, this one talks about compound complex sentences. Okay? A compound complex sentence contains 2 or more independent clauses and 1 or more subordinate clauses. Okay, so if we look at our examples, I have Gina knew that she would have to wait, but she didn't mind. I have 2 independent and 1 subordinate, so that one's compound complex. When you get home, give me a call and I'll tell you the news that I heard. I have subordinate, subordinate, independent, independent. Okay, so I have the 2 independent and the 2 subordinate, so this one's also compound complex. Okay, just to review, if you have one independent clause and 1 dependent clause, that's a complex sentence. If I have 2 independent clauses, that's compound. Now if I have 1 independent clause, it's going to be simple. I don't think we have any simple sentences on this paper, but all right. Underline each independent clause once and each subordinate clause twice. In the blanks provided, label each sentence CP for compound, CX for complex, or CP, CX for compound complex. Okay? And I went ahead and underlined my subjects and verbs for you. That helps me find them. But if I look at this sentence, I have Monopoly is a game of strategy, but it has an element of chance. Is my verb, has is my verb, what has an element of chance? It is my subject, Monopoly is my subject. Okay? So I go ahead and I have 1 independent clause, 1 independent clause, and they're put together here with this comma and the but. So I know if I have 2 independent clauses, I have a compound sentence. Okay, number 2. Hangman is a word game that both children and adults enjoy. Sorry, forgot to underline those ones. Okay, hangman is a word game that both children and adults enjoy. I have is my verb. Enjoy is my verb. My subject is hangman. Children and adults are my subject over enjoy. Okay? And I know that hangman is a word game, is an independent one. I know that this one here is dependent or subordinate because of my clue word that. So this sentence has 1 of each. It is complex. Okay, Chinese checkers is played with marbles. It is an easy game to learn. We have is and it. Is played and checkers. Okay, notice that I've got an independent clause here, put together with a semicolon. So that's a compound sentence. All right, chess, which probably originated in India in the 600s, is still played throughout the world. Okay, I've got my is and played as my verb. Originated is my verb here. Subject is which. Subject of is played is chess. That's my independent clause there. This is my dependent clause here. Got my clue word which. So I've got one of each. This sentence is complex. Okay. Now, this sentence is compound complex. Let's go ahead and look at how we got there. Okay. I have is played as a verb, is called. Okay. Now, what is played? That. What is called checkers? Game. Is called it. Okay. Now, I've got a clue word here. This is going to be my dependent clause right here. My independent clause is here, and this is my independent clause here. Okay, so I've got two independents and one dependent, so that makes a compound complex. Okay. All right, let's look at number 6. Were played is my verb. Is played is the verb here. Okay, what were played? Games. What is played? It. Okay. Put together with a conjunction and that. So I've got two independent put together. So this one is going to be compound. Okay. All right. Go ahead and try the last 4 yourself. Do the best you can. If you get stuck, let me know. But find your subjects and verbs. Look for your clue words. I'll go ahead and give you a hint. Your clue words for your dependent clauses in these are going to be that and since. Okay? So if you see those words, those are going to indicate to you that you have a dependent clause. So be on the lookout for those. Okay. Let me know if you have questions.